All right, guys. Here is chapter 2, which is chapter 2. It's talking about the malware and social engineering. You will find out that if hackers or attacker are looking for somebody to hack, there are two ways they're going to do that. One way to do it is using social engineering. The other way is using malware, and sometimes they can even use both of them. So this chapter in this chapter, we'll talk about. We'll first define different type of malwares, list all type of malwares, and you're going to find out it's really hard to make a difference between them, or to define a clear line between them. Some of them cross the lines, as you will see. We will identify the payload of malware, what makes that malware. We will describe the types of social engineering, right? Social engineering, psychological attacks, right? We will also talk about explain physical social engineering, when somebody has access to something or gain access to physical things. And finally, we're going to see a couple of demos. I'll show you a keylogger, I'll show you a Trojan, a virus, and also a social engineering to have a better understanding of how they work. All right. The first question is, what do we mean by malware? Just the terms exactly. Let's spend some time about a malware. Malware is any malicious code that finds its way to a user's computer without his or her permissions. That's it. Malware is any line of code that finds its way somehow to a user's computers and without the user's permission, and delete or replicate or copy or whatever it was designed to do. It does all this without the end user permissions. And needless to tell you, some of them are also annoying. We're going to find out about them. All right. Those in general, that's what they are. How can we classify the different types of malware? There are so many theories and so many ideas. Some people define them based on how they're coded, right? Some people define them on their intention, what they're trying to do. Either copy, delete, damage, what they're trying to do. Some people classify them based on the method that they use to get to the end users. Some people classify them how they behave once they get into somebody's computer. Some, they will hide, we'll call them dormant, they stay dormant for a period of time. They'll wake up once a month or once a year. So some, as soon as they get there, they start doing whatever they need to do. However, I can guarantee you that the clear definition is not always easy. Especially sometimes you're going to learn that they work together. Some of them do work together, and you're going to find out that they do work together. All right, I talk about the different techniques and how we define them. Concealment, some of them how they conceal, how they hide themselves. I think we said that. And some of them, the payload. The payload is a kernel, is a heart of what you call it, of the malicious code. What is it? How is it written? Some of it is in one single piece. Some of it is broken into multiple pieces. Some of it, guess what? It changed. You'll be surprised to know that some malware, once they get to your computer, they will rewrite themselves every now and then. They will rewrite themselves every now and then to avoid that an anti-malware software will find them. Right? So they will rewrite it. Some of them, they will encrypt themselves and keep changing the encryption keys to make it hard, if not impossible, for you to really, or for any malicious software to find out. Now let's list some of them. The most common one that you really know is what we call viruses. Now, I'm about to really change your mind and enlighten you when it comes to viruses. What if I tell you today, virus is not what you think it is, really? Not just you, everybody, whenever they get any malicious software, the only thing they blame is always, as a virus, I got a virus. Well, I have news for you. It's not always a virus. Right? A lot of times it's not a virus. So virus is an example of malware, right? An example of malware that has so many attention. The attention usually depend on the code, what we coded to do. Sometimes some viruses are coded to delete, sometimes are coded to copy, sometimes are coded to do absolutely nothing, just stay there for whatever, for more what we call it, for more instructions. Now, here's what I remind you. Here's what I want you to understand today. Please remember that viruses, for instance, cannot go from one computer to another computer. Let's clarify this one. They don't have the capacity and the skill and the knowledge and the code to go from one computer to another computer. That is one. The second thing, viruses are not programs. They need other programs. That's why one of the many ways to get a virus, you get a virus is when you get it to an attachment. Somebody took an attachment and bind or put a virus into it. You get an email, and that email has an attachment. You download the attachment, you get the virus right there. Guess what? The virus cannot get to you by itself. In this way, viruses are very similar to human biological viruses. They need a host. So remember that. What I want to tell you before I move, viruses need hosts. Viruses have no networking capabilities. Read it? All right. Next example, if what we call program viruses, program that infect executable program. What it does, it finds an executable program and infect it. It either attach itself to it or completely replace it. I know of some that goes to notepad.exe and replace notepad.exe with itself. Now, when you're looking for the virus, you may miss it, you not find it because it's called notepad.exe. So, as a matter of fact, there's a famous virus called notepad.exe. All right, next type of viruses are known as macros. Anybody know what macro are? Macro is what they use in Office, in Office, such as in Excel or in Access or in Word. And when we use it to automate certain repetitive tasks. That's what it automatically runs. For instance, a macro can find find certain word and automatically replace them with whatever word you want. A macro can do that. Why? They make things easy. Instead of a user go and look for all those words and replace them, and he's going to do that like a document that has 100 pages, you'll be there. A macro does it automatically. Guess what? Some viruses look for macros and they attach themselves to the macros. Why is that? Because every time the macro runs, the virus runs too. Because the virus needs somebody's action. Either a user that double-click, run a program, or a program that runs by itself. So that's how it. All right. Next thing, there's some kind of what they call a virus is known as split infection, where the virus split its code into itself into several parts. Have it happened to you? You get a piece of malware, which is probably a virus. You delete it, and it comes back. There are two of them. They're watching each other. Really? They are watching each other. You kill me, I'll bring my brother. You kill my brother, he will call me, and that's how it stays. And you never get rid of them. Right? They'll split. To make deletion even more difficult, this part contains unnecessary garbage code to mask its true virus. Viruses will go through so many methods and techniques to conceal and hide themselves. Right, they'll do it in different ways. So there's so many methods depending on how they were coded to hide themselves. Viruses actions. Different viruses have different actions. Some viruses, as soon as they get into the victim's computer, they will they will launch what we call the payload, and they'll start doing whatever they need to do, whatever they were programmed to do. A virus may be programmed just to annoy the end users. I know viruses just open your CDs every now and then. That's all it does. It just want to annoy you. Virus that will disconnect you from the network every now and then. Virus with the pop-ups every now and then. Whatever that virus is written to do. Virus that can delete files. They look for them. They're not there anymore. All right. Virus that keep copy itself to the point that overwhelm your computer and your computer crash and you get some kind of blue screen of death. Or virus that will use all your system resources to slow you down to the point that you can't do anything, right? All those are examples of action of viruses. Virus carriers. Virus can't automatically spread to another computer, like I said. A virus as you could see, virus need a program, need application to move from one place to another place. A lot of times, virus need the user and also need a program and application. So, and like I said, relies on the user. Viruses are attached to files. Viruses are spread by transfer infected files. How you get them? USB. You can get them through the USB. You can get them by downloading something from the internet. You can get them by going to chat room and clicking on something. You can get them. You can get them by getting somebody's USB, and sometimes you can get them by just going to a website. That's all it takes. You visit a site, in a second it's in your computer. All right, I'll show you if we have time. I'll show you a demo how somebody in fraction of a second got 60 Trojan, 24 viruses, and all kind of. And just because you went to the wrong site, you don't have to do anything. All right, and then, like we said, that one. Now here is what should scare you more than viruses. Here's what people a lot of times you talk about, and they call them viruses. Worms. Worms are programmed, unlike viruses. Worms, they don't depend on the end users, they don't depend on programs, and they are designed and written with networking capability in their mind. And if you get a worm, right, a worm can attach itself to every person in your email address and send itself. If you ever receive an email from yourself, that's an example of a worm that just did it. If somebody received an email from you and then he didn't send, that's because a worm just did that. Worm have the power to go from one computer to another computer without really using. Needless to tell you, they are more destructive. They can do a lot more harm than the viruses could do. I told you about the first 21st century weapons, Stuxnet, that 100% made of code. It's a kind of worm. Worse yet, there are a lot of protection against viruses, right? We are very good at finding viruses by looking at their signatures, but we are not very good at getting worms. Why is that? Because a worm are written to find and exploit a vulnerability in your system, then use them to get to you. Well, those vulnerability and exploit, you don't know about them. Microsoft doesn't know about them. The network administrator doesn't know them. Nobody knows about them. So as a result, no matter what you do, that worm is in, and that worm will do whatever the worm needs to do. That's how hard is it worm. That's why sometimes if you see worms in your computer, right, I would say, you know what, wipe that computer up, zap everything. You never know what it was, what that worm already did, right? Those are the worms. Next one are Trojans. Right? Next one are Trojans. Trojans are very funny looking programs. What they do, when you go and download a game, free game or something, and it has a Trojan, the Trojan come with the game. So while you are playing and enjoying the game, the Trojan is doing his work in the back. So in one hand he's showing you one thing, in one hand he's showing you one thing, but another hand, in one hand he's giving you something, but the other hand he's taking something else. That's what the Trojan do. The Trojan, and it's after the well-known and famous story, the Greek story of the wooden horse known as a Trojan. You know, probably you know the story of, you saw the movie Troy. Here's some examples of worms out there. All right, so an example of worms that are very known, and if you go, there's a list in the internet about all the different kind of worms out there. What I want to show you now, I talk about viruses. I talk about worm. I want to show you something that is even scarier. This one is probably never heard about it. It's called Rootkit. Rootkit, it's very similar. It's malicious. It's a malicious code. However, almost all the time, when a rootkit finds its way to your computer, you can't get rid of it. It is not easy to get rid of. There are a lot of tools out there that they say yes, they can, but guess what? I haven't read or seen any paper anywhere that said this will certify this program certified removing any kind of root in your system. The funny thing that rootkit were first designed for good for good things. They were designed by Sony. Sony designed them to disable the CD burner for any person that is copying Sony, movies and Sony technologies. Till somebody find out and Sony went to court, and the program was available. Everybody started knowing about it, and now we have new program. Guess what? Sometimes a rootkit, once it gets the rootkit can has viruses, can store viruses and worms inside of it. Once it's inside in your computer, it will send its load, your payload, to do whatever they need to. You can't get me because I'm all the way there. But guess what? Every now and then I'll send something to you. Right? I'll try them until I get there. So they are very. So your book is saying your book. A lot of people are saying the only way to get rid of what do you call it, of rootkit is reformat, reinstall, and hope there's nothing left from there, and back up everything from what do you call that. There are certain software I'm going to share with you, but no one of them will guarantee you that they can remove the rootkits. All right? Because the rootkit are not rootkit go inside the kernel. The heart of the operating system, that all malware software are programmed not to touch. Your antiviruses will go and scan for file. Well, he'll not go into your operating system. He is not. Have you ever seen your antiviruses finish and the ant tell you, permission denied, can't scan this, can't scan that? Yeah. All right. Well, that's where the root goes to. Root go deep into places that antiviruses and malicious software may not be able to remove it. Next thing, spywares. Spywares are programmed. I'm not sure if you can call them malicious. I call them more annoying than really. Are programmed that usually get via the internet. All right, your browser is the first guy that gets them, and what they do, they spy on you and they collect information about you and what you do. They learn your habit. For instance, you may be on the internet looking for a car, shopping for a car, or you just bought your skull and you start looking for a car, and sadly there is a spyware right there. He's watching you, that you are looking for a car. That spyware will collect that data, send it, right? Send it to whoever is in the command, and whoever in command will sell it to other companies, and those companies, they have pretty good information about you. They start sending you spams and ads around you that are about cars. Next time when you start looking for cars, right? You start looking for cars, just you're in dealer looking for cars. Look at the advertising around you. Quickly it will change. All of them start talking about cars, and some of them may even stay there for a while, right? So that's spyware. Collect information about you and send it to what do you call it, to somebody in command, and they'll decide to do whatever they want to do with them, right? Next one is scary. Another one. I'm not afraid of spyware, of course. Don't let them scare you. The one that you need to be afraid of, viruses. You need to be afraid of rootkits. You need to be afraid of worms. Those are very, very, very dangerous. Next one are keyloggers. Keyloggers are programs that logs everything that you do. Well, guess what? Sometimes the worm or the Trojan has a keylogger built in it. And I'll do a demo to them. I'm going to show you how to do that. So they have a keylogger. What they're doing, they are listening to every single key that you type, especially when you go to a certain site, like a banking site or credit card site. Then they'll see your credit card and your password. And so keylogger. We have two types of keyloggers. We have a software keyloggers, and we have a hardware keylogger. Software keylogger is a software that you install. That you install. I'm going to show you one that you install in whatever computers. You can send via email. You can put them in a USB. You can have somebody download it, whatever way you choose to send it to their computer to do so. Then we have hardware keyloggers. The one, the picture that you see, the next one, that's a hardware keylogger. Guess what? A lot of keyloggers, software keylogger, can be detected by antiviruses that is up to date. Up to date. There are certain companies that the keyloggers are always ahead of the antiviruses. One company is known as Spectre, and they have a program, very powerful program, known as eBlaster. It's always ahead of the game. You can buy it for like $99, right? I'll tell you a story about it. You can buy it and use it for $99. And you can send it via emails, all right? And you can install it via emails too. So this hardware keylogger is a piece of hardware. So look, it is outside your operating system. So as a result, your operating system will not know that it exists. But yeah, it logs every single thing. So when somebody would come back, like, I don't know, a day or hours later, it come first, plug it in, then come back the next day in 2 days and unplug it, and takes everything that you have been typing. Right? Everything that you have been typing. I know of other software ones that are also USBs. You just plug them in, wait a second, unplug it, and go. Come back whenever you're ready, plug it back, right, if you want it, and automatically upload the key, whatever it launched, or can even email you. A lot of keyloggers, as I'm going to show you, can email you everything. Can also FTP if you want. They can send it to you. You don't have to be there. Once it's installed, you don't have to be there anymore. They are very dangerous. Adwares. Adwares are another type of malicious of software that what they do, they get information sent or collected by spyware to advertise. This guy's more used for marketing and advertising around you. That's what they do. There are billions, both spywares and adwares are billions of dollars industry. Lot of money. Really a lot of money. Right? Next thing, this is probably you guys have seen, is what called ransomware. Ransomware is one of the latest generation of malware. It doesn't. If you listen to what I said about a malware, you probably clearly understand that based on their intention, some malware will come and steal and run. Some malware will come and just destroy stuff. I don't want it, but guess what? You're not going to get it either. I'm going to destroy it. And some malware like this one, they don't destroy, they don't steal, they just lock. Hijack it. That's what they do. That's a good word. They'll hijack your programs, they'll hijack your data and say, well, you need to pay. How they do that? They do that by using encryption. You need to pay money if you want to get it back. And if you know anything about encryption, you know it's not always easy to break the encryption to get that thing. This is the recent one that we get every now and then. Here's another one. Here's another one right here too. Ransom messages, which is it does, right? So next one is what we call logic bombs. Logic bombs. Logic bombs are malicious program that find your way to your computer in zillions and dozens of ways. And once they do, they will stay dormant. Either they stay dormant till the person in command or in charge tell them to wake up and do whatever they need to do, or they program maybe every year or every day at 5 o'clock when nobody's around to see the network activities, they'll wake up and start copying and sending stuff. However, when everybody's in, they will sleep. At 8 o'clock to 5, they're sleeping. They'll start like 7 or 8 when nobody is around. Night when nobody is around. They're very dangerous too. Right, they are very famous. There are some very famous. I'm sorry, back here, some very famous one right there. List and the name of them. I'm not sure the name is important. Next malicious type of software is known as backdoors. Backdoors, if you ask programmers, he'll tell you they're not malicious. I use them all the time. Now, programmers, if there's anything that they dislike, or if I can use the word hate, it's working in a program. When they are working in their own program, they have to be authenticated by the network administrator, that somebody is in control. Right. Type in the username, type in the password, but they don't like that. When they need to work on their computer, they want to go straight into that computer and do whatever they need to do. Right? Do what they need to do. How they do that? How to bypass the network administrator's authentication procedure and policy? By leaving backdoors inside their programs. When they leave backdoor, the backdoors allow them to go in after whatever they want. Now, they're supposed to remove those backdoors after a certain period of time. Well, guess what? Some of them, they never do. So as a result, it takes anybody else to know what program you're using and to know that that program has a backdoors and come after you. Or scan you and find a program. Hopefully they know that they discover there's a backdoor. So once there's a backdoor, you can do whatever you want to do. Right. You use name your password, it's not going to stop anybody from doing anything because the guy's already in. Right? That was our backdoor. The next thing that you hear a lot, and I'm going to show you a demo. I already showed you before, and I'll do a demo too. Do you remember that IP Viking? I'm going to show you all those attacks going. Right? A lot of those attacks are generated by botnets. Botnets are special programs, right? A special program that find that they find insecure and protect the machine, infect them, but here's what, they don't cause no harm. They don't harm them. What they do, the what do you call the criminal or the cyber criminal or the hacker or whatever, he just trying to increase the size of what we call his herd, his what we call his botnets. So once he has like thousands of them or hundreds of them, he can sell them. He can even rent them. No, what they rent them for? They rent them to cause denial of service attack, for instance. All right, when you have thousands of millions of machines all over the internet attacking you by either maybe using whatever program, maybe using what do you call it? Anonymous Dead, using low orbit low orbit ion cannon. What if every single bot used that program and they start sending a large amount of packet to a computer, to a web server? They will crash it. And that's exactly what it's called. So zombie, once they're on somebody's computer, they can be controlled from remote. They may not harm the computer where they are. They will harm other users. They will harm other what do you call it, remote computers. Now we talk about the different software, and quickly I'll recap. We talk about a virus. We talk about a worm. We talk about Trojans. We'll talk about adware, we'll talk about spyware, we'll talk about adware, we'll talk about Rootkit, and we said all this are malicious software that can be delivered to the end user using an unlimited amount of techniques. There's not always one way. There's a USB, there's an internet, there's email, there's really tons of ways. Right? So, and yet, once they are on somebody's computer, that computer belongs to whoever send that Trojan. I will do a demo and I will show you. What I want to show you next, what I will move on next, it's social engineering. Social engineering. If a hacker was unable to penetrate a network or breach a network by using any kind of malicious software, because the network is well protected, what they do, they will move to second weapon. The second weapon, it's looking for vulnerability instead of the human in software. Now vulnerability in humans. Social engineering uses humans. All right, uses humans. So the way they do it, there's so many types of social engineering, and I'll do a demo for you. You guys sometimes I'm not, when I say social engineering, the social engineer may just pick up a phone and call somebody and pretend to be somebody and start getting information from them. Hello, Mike. This is Joe from Cisco. This morning, one of our tech was trying to get to one of your Cisco's, trying to update it, and he was unable to. He was told that he believed that somebody changed password to the router. Are you aware of it? Do you know if the password had changed? Oh, the guy said, no, I don't know. I didn't hear about it. Let me look. The last time I know the password was Johnny Walker. I said, well, he was typing that and it did not work. You know what? Let me go back and talk to him. Maybe he typed the wrong password. Oh, thanks for your help. Thank you. See you. Bye. Right after hanging up, go back to your router. Now he knows Johnny Walker is a password to that router. So using social engineering, there are a lot of movies that you guys are familiar with that you saw when social engineering was right there. For instance, Freedom Downtown, which is based on Kevin's Mitnick life. All right. Also, by the way, Kevin Mitnick supposedly is known as the pioneer, one of the pioneers in the computer. There were other social engineering before even the internet. For the phones, they call them phone phreakers, right? Phone phreakers. Another show you, there are other people that kind of mastered this art, and in one of the interviews, Kevin said that he does not deserve the credit. The credit should go to the phone phreakers. They're the one that started doing all these things. All right. So, however, I want to tell you, social engineer can pick up a phone and talk to humans, but social engineering can also gather information about the humans and see who they are. Then start sending some emails. Send an email. One of the techniques they use is known as phishing. Phishing is by sending an email that have a hyperlink. Once you click in that link, it will automatically redirect you. I give you a good example. A good example, you get an email from your bank, Bank of America, telling you that due to some legal and due to some new regulation, they are now told that all their customers need to change their password, and all passwords must meet complexity. When the password has to be at least 8 characters, we have find out that your password does not meet the complexity. We're hereby asking you to log in and change your password. Please follow this link. And you follow the link, click Bank of America, opens the site, comes up. In no second, a pop-up in front of the Bank of America comes up, and it tells you like a form. Please fill out this form. And they're asking you for your older password, your new password, your username, your ATM machines, whatever the guy wants to. And as soon as you finish that and you click submit, guess what? Bank of America is still waiting for you. The website's still in the back waiting for you. That pop-ups, it was a part, whatever. It did whatever it needed to do, collect information, and it send it from whatever you need to send it to. So phishing is one of the examples. I'm going back to human. One of the techniques that they use is using psychology. If you guys remember the movie Live Free or Die Hard 4, when Bruce Willis was trying to get in a car. What's the other actor? Do you remember his name? When he's trying to get a car, trying to run away and get a car, and Jason, and the car did not start. The car had on start. All right, and the guy started crying. My dad is crying. He's dying. He's gonna die in front of me and stuff. So he's social engineering whoever the user at the other end that she did turn on the car for them, and he took the car. Other technique that social engineering may use, they may call, all right, send an email. This is Smith from the FBI in Hartford. We just want to let you know that we have been monitoring one of the notorious hacker. His name is James, and we have learned that James have collected enough information about you, and soon you will get an email, and that email James will ask you to deposit $2,000 in his account. We want you to go ahead and deposit the $2,000. We will pay you $2,000 and even more, because by doing that you help us. What do you call it? Right? Very good, very good. And the guy said, and by the way, or whatever word they use, please do not call anybody, tell your family members, or call any government agency or anything. This is a private investigation. By doing so, you will blah, 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 blah. You get scared. It's all right. I want to be a good citizen. I want to help here. All right. I will deposit the money. You get an email, the same guy. Send you an email, and he deposits the money, and what do you call it? And you never see that money again. Right? All right. Now, impersonation, what I talked about is called impersonation. Here is phishing. I kind of gave you an example of phishing. I'll also do a demo about phishing, how phishing works. Phishing send you a link, and once you click on the link, you'll be hijacked. Some common phishing features. You see that when you see like it comes to you from Bank of America. If you look at the logo of Bank of America, it does not look too good. Sometimes even the English, right? You get some grammar, some mistakes. Is not when you read the letter or the email is not well written. And when you go to site, the site's not really very good, very nice. So there are certain things that may give you an idea that this is not my this is not my bank, and it's not site that I usually do business with, right? Those are example of phishing. There's more farming, spear phishing, whaling. This is nice. Whaling, what they do, the hackers, what they do, they look for very important individuals in the company, in the hierarchy. Right? And they know they are business savvy, but they know that they are not technically savvy. So if I would have them click here or there, and then I'm in. I'm in complete control. I have what I want. Thereby, they will target them, and hoping that one of them will click on something, follow the link, and next thing they'll take whatever. So they will. They're taking big fish. If you want whales, not even fish. All right. Vision. Vision is a new one. I'm sure it happens to you every now and then. Anyone probably received a phone call recently from Microsoft telling you that they believe that your computer is infected, and they will help you remove the virus from your computer. But before they do that, they need your credit card, blah, 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 blah. All right? That's if you don't, it didn't happen to any one of you, I'm sure you know somebody that is happening. Another thing, they leave messages in your phone, and they want you to call them back. Right? They want you to call back. So this is an example of what we call vision, or which is an example of phishing, which is an example of social engineering. Now, if you ask me, Jay, can you name with everything that you said for all the malicious software and the social engineering technique, which one you think is the worst? I would say this one right here. Hoaxes is the worst of all of them. Why is that? Because no human can protect you, and no policy can protect you, and no antivirus can protect you, because there is no malicious code. There is no such thing. For instance, you receive an email from somebody telling you that you have what do you call it? You have a malicious code, or you have something.
You keep going.
Yeah. I was recorded.
When you go on